What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Ghouls Gaming and Tech channel. Now we have a game right here, highly anticipated, that everybody's playing. We have Crimson Desert right here, and you know I always give you guys the best settings for any big game that comes out, and this video is no different. Now I must give you guys a disclaimer because I don't need you guys coming for me in the comments. If some of these settings you want to change, or you have some particular settings that you usually put for your games, by all means do that. This is not the end all be all. These are just the best general settings to get you guys fully immersed and engaged into the game. So make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, or if you're new or returning, make sure to hit that like button. It's definitely appreciated. This is the best way that I and YouTube knows you guys enjoy these type of videos. We're on the Crimson Desert main screen right here. If you can see, bottom left, you press start and you will have your menu right here. So you have some settings that you want to check out. So this is basically your graphics mode. The only three options they offer you is balanced, quality, and performance. Now, usually with PS5 Pro Enhanced game, they offer like a Pro option, but they're not doing that for this one. So from what I've seen, the game looks pretty stunning as it is. You just kind of want to know what to go with. So obviously, performance. Running at 60 frames, pretty stable. I'm playing this on PS5 Pro for those who are wondering. So if you have a PC, some of your settings might be different. But this is more so for some console stuff and some PC stuff here and there. You can kind of take with what you want. But from my experience, this game is best played, and as far as smoothness, performance, and balance. Quality looks great, but just like any game, it is a bit choppy when it comes to those 30 frames. Balance is good. It's a solid about 40 or 45 FPS, and it looks great. It runs pretty smooth. And then balance, obviously it runs the smoothest, but from my experience, the some of the textures of a lot of the stuff, it's very like smoothed out, and it kind of almost look fake or like Play-Doh, like for example rocks. So that kind of bothers me. That's a bit of an eyesore to me. So I recommend playing this in balance mode. I think it comes in balance mode when you get the game, but I would put that in balance mode. Now the next thing, this is the contrast. So I upped the contrast a little bit because sometimes with games it can be a little dull looking or kind of grayed out. I upped the contrast to 55. Not much, it comes on 50, but I upped it to 55 just for my eye's sake. All right, next thing right here, for some reason the game came with HDR off. Make sure to turn this on. It gives you the best visual fidelity for your game that you're playing. So turn that on. Don't know why they started the game with that off. All right, next thing right here is VSync. For those who don't know, this is what it says right here. VSync is synchronize the frame rate with your monitor's refresh rate to prevent screen tearing. When activated, the image appears smoother, but you may experience a lag. When you remove this setting, responsiveness improves, but tearing may occur. VRR compatible monitors, which I do have, so if you guys have that as well, as you can see, can maintain a smooth tear-free screen mode even when this feature is deactivated. So I do have a VRR compatible monitor, but I turn this on because we want to get that VSync in there whenever it's possible. So I turn that on. I can also see people who have the variable refresh rate on their monitor. If you want to turn this off and see how you fare with that, by all means you can do so. And then the next thing is HDR settings right here. Let me go back, click square for that. So when you first start the game, it asks you how you want to modify the gamma, and it says to put the game where that symbol, whenever you're in that gamma menu, that symbol is barely showing is where you want your gamma. I had it on barely showing, but right when you can see the image, I put it 1 or 2 lower than that. All right, max brightness right here. So this is one of those examples I explained to you. This says make the image barely visible. It is automatically set to HDR 10 plus gaming. I don't want this game to be super bright. I know there's some vast environments on this game and a lot of ranges, a lot of daylight. It's going to be very bright. So to give you guys context, I am playing on a Asus ROG. I think this is like a 32 inch or maybe 27. I think it's a 32 inch screen, true black 4K, OLED, all that stuff. So it's a very good quality monitor right here. So I don't want this image too dark or too bright. So I put this on 485. I found this was the good sweet spot. You can kind of play around in this range, but I wouldn't go anywhere further than plus or minus 10 from 485. So you got 495. You can see it's a little bit more faint. And then 475. And then exposure. This originally comes on 50. I put this on 55. As you can see, as you increase the exposure, the screen gets brighter and some details of the image kind of get washed out. So I would recommend 55. You can go up to 60 if you want, if you find out, just depending on what monitor you're playing on, or display TV, whatever it is. If it is a little bit too dark, you can go up to about 60, but I put it on 55. And then UI brightness, this originally came on 50. This doesn't really matter too much to most people, but I put it on 60 because sometimes these UIs, they come a little bit dark. So I like to have it a little bit brighter because it doesn't hurt. No harm, no foul kind of thing. All right, so we have all those settings for the display. This is your volume and sound stuff right here. I'm surprised the subtitles aren't on here, but it is what it is. I left this all the same. And then the next option is your input. So for some reason, this game defaults with adaptive triggers off. So again, you got a PS5 or a PS5 Pro, you want to utilize all those features. Make sure to turn adaptive triggers on. All right, and then language and gameplay. There's not much gameplay options in my opinion, but language, whatever language you wanted to put it in, and everything else you can leave it on. It's not gonna make that much of a difference. And then we go to accessibility. The only thing I changed with this is the subtitles. I hate subtitles. I like to be immersed in a game, definitely if it's like a role-playing or an action adventure or a storytelling type of game. I want to be fully immersed. Any game, pretty much. I never have subtitles unless they're speaking a different language all the time. But that is it. Those are your settings right there. All right, you guys. So the last thing I want to point on is, I guess it's not necessarily a setting, but it's something that you can do. You can change the camera view. So yes, if you press the touchpad, you will have these different angles. You can go first person, as you can see right here, which is pretty cool that they give you this option. You can be super far back, a little closer, very close, and then first person. So yeah, touchpad, you can change the viewing angles of your characters and it will stay like that. That's going to be it, you guys. Short and sweet, not trying to make this too complicated. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the game and hopefully these settings help. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Love you as always, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.